Moonlight drifts over red stone. The valley lies still, waiting for its first breath. Wind moves between the cliffs like a quiet memory returning home. Inhale slowly. 4 counts. Hold. 7. Exhale. 8. Again. Let the rhythm find you. You don't need to fall asleep tonight. Sleep will come to you, softly, without asking. That is how the desert teaches rest. Above the ridges, a silver river winds beneath the stars. It does not hurry. It glows, bends, disappears, then returns. Beside it, a sleeping flame trembles inside a copper bowl, small and alive. Its light breathes like a heart, keeping the dark gentle. Far away, the sand remembers footsteps. Caravans once crossed this silence, carrying salt, resin, copper, and dreams. They left no voices, only patterns in the wind. Now the wind tells their story in whispers, erasing each word as it speaks. Breathe in again. Let the air polish the inside of your chest. Let it carry away the day's noise, the small weight of thought. Each breath is a tide, washing the edges smooth. The night listens, the stars wait. The earth hums in a low, steady tone. Everything that moves does so without effort. Moonlight slides down the red walls and touches the sand like a blessing. The copper bowl glows a little brighter, and the silver river answers with light. They speak in reflections, one fire, one flow, both endless, both calm. You are part of this rhythm now. The breath that leaves you joins the wind. The warmth that remains joins the earth. Nothing is lost. Everything drifts and returns. If thoughts appear, let them wander like camels across the night road. Do not follow. Let them fade toward another horizon. Somewhere beyond the dunes, the river turns again. Somewhere beyond the turn, the flame sleeps a little deeper. And you breathe, rest, and drift with time. The night stretches over the mountains of Seir. Stone glows in faint moonlight, red fading to silver. The air smells of dust, salt, and sleep. Footsteps once crossed this silence. Now only the wind moves, brushing across the ridges. It sounds like a slow breath drawn through ancient lips. The first fires of Edom burned here, not in battle, but in waiting. Flames for warmth, for copper, for prayer. They rose from small hands and quiet labor. They fed the darkness, not with noise, but with purpose. A river of silver curls below the cliffs. It is narrow, shallow, but alive. Every ripple catches the moon's reflection, divides it, then returns it whole. Beside the stream, a sleeping flame trembles in its copper bowl. Its glow paints the stone in shifting gold. Villages rested by this water. Walls of clay and rock stood low against the wind. Children gathered reeds. Men drew ore from the hills. Women shaped earth into jars. Each gesture carried patience. Each sound, soft metal, soft breathing, belonged to a world that moved slowly. They spoke of gods who walked with light on their shoulders. They left altars of smooth rock, open to the sky. When the moon reached its highest point, voices fell quiet. The air itself became sacred. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the chest rise like these hills, fall like the night. Let the ribs soften, let the eyes rest in shadow. A caravan drifts in the distance. Its lamps shimmer like small constellations. The sound of hooves is dull, the sound of bells almost lost. They carry copper and incense, salt and grain, hope and fatigue. The road bends, the torches fade, the stars remain. Underfoot, the sand keeps memory. Every print stays for a while, then vanishes. Every step writes, then erases its name. This is how the desert remembers, by forgetting slowly. The silver river glows again, bending through reeds. A wind rises, cool and steady. It brushes the surface, spreading light like spilled silk. The sleeping flame answers with a low pulse, leaning but not dying. Together they form the rhythm of the valley. Shimmer, hush, breathe. Stone by stone, the ridges learn the sound of life. They listen, they wait, they hold. When dawn comes, light will slide down their faces and the red walls will awaken. But for now, the earth lies between waking and dream. Nothing hurries, nothing asks. Somewhere near, a man whispers a prayer, not for wealth, not for conquest, but for the patience to remain. He listens to his own words fade into the sand. He feels the weight of his body ease, the world expand and dissolve. Above him, the sky deepens to indigo, and the stars drift in slow orbits of thought. Breathe again. Let the air be cool in your lungs, warm as it leaves. You are lying in the rhythm of this kingdom's first night. You are part of its silence. The silver river moves on, and the flame folds into sleep. The desert sighs once, and the ridges rest. Somewhere beyond the water's turn, another dream begins to form. Not loud, not sudden, only certain and still. Dawn lingers behind the eastern ridge. The light arrives slowly, like a breath remembered. Red cliffs turn gold, then soften to rose. The night exhales, and the desert begins to move again. Caravans wake with the wind. Hooves press shallow marks into the dust. A bell rings once, its echo folding into the air. Men stir the ashes of small fires, coaxing embers to life. The first spark leaps. A thin smoke curls upward, blue against the pale sky. This is how the kingdom breathes. Through copper, through incense, through movement, through silence between the steps. The valley hums underfoot, steady and low, the sound of work becoming prayer. The furnaces wait in the hollows. Ore from the cliffs, green and grey, glints in baskets of reed. Hands sought, crush, and feed it to the fire. The air fills with the scent of metal, of heat, of earth turned bright. Molten copper flows like sunlight, captured and released again. It is both flame and river, a mirror of the world's hidden pulse. Beside each furnace stands a bowl of sand and water. When the glow grows fierce, a worker dips his fingers into the bowl, touches his face, touches his heart. A gesture of balance between fire and flesh, between making and surrender. Nothing here hurries. Everything is part of breath. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Let the air travel deeper this time. Let it settle where words fade. Beyond the workshops, incense burns in clay pots. The smoke rises in long grey ribbons, curling like handwriting on the wind. It carries messages upward, names of gods, wishes of travellers, memories of those who walked these paths before. The scent mingles with dust, with copper, with sweat. It does not overpower. It lingers. Evening will find it still floating, like thought without urgency. The road from Ser to the Dead Sea is narrow. Each turn holds the hush of old footsteps. Each shadow hides a mark carved by passing traders. Myrrh, gold, and salt, currents of a world moving unseen. They call it the King's Highway, but it is quieter than its name. Only the whisper of sandals, only the patient groan of wood and rope. At night, when fires fade, the silver river appears again. It threads through the valley like a drawn breath, faint and endless. Beside it, the sleeping flame opens its eye, trembling but sure. Its light touches the workers' hands as they rest. It watches without judgment, without noise. Even stars seem to pause above it. Stone walls echo the day's warmth, and voices drift from tent to tent like soft waves. They tell stories of trade, of journeys beyond the horizon, of kings who once listened to prophets in the hills. But even these tales fade before sleep. The fire sighs, the wind lowers its tone, and the world shrinks to a heartbeat. Breathe in again. Count 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Let the shoulders sink into the ground. Let thoughts slide into distance, smooth and slow. If you listen closely, you will hear the earth itself breathing, copper cooling, sand shifting, water turning beneath stone. Everything in rhythm, everything alive, even in rest. A lone traveler looks back once at the ridge. The moon has returned, pale and round above the cliffs. It paints the valley in silver, and the flame answers from its bowl, small but eternal. 2 lights, 2 mirrors. Both whispered the same quiet promise. The world does not end. It only exhales. Sleep comes like that too. Not sudden, not sharp. It moves the way light moves over metal. It melts, it spreads, it finds its shape. Somewhere beyond the dunes, the caravans fade into the dark. Somewhere beyond their path, the red ridges glow again. And you breathe, drift, remain. The sun sinks behind Ser once more. Evening slides down the ridges like a soft river of light. The heat fades, and the stones begin to breathe again. Shadows stretch long and cool over the valley floor. The kingdom is awake in its quiet way. Fires bloom in doorways, 100 small suns flickering in copper bowls. From a distance, they seem to float like constellations fallen to earth. Every flame hums a little differently. Every glow carries a memory of hands that shaped it. Edom's kings ruled from stone halls carved into the mountain's ribs. Their walls were smooth, their doors narrow, their voices low. They did not shout their power, they listened for it. Rulers here were measured by calm, by how still they could stand when wind passed through the court, by how softly they spoke when copper was poured and cooled. A silver river curls beneath their palace. It bends through shadows, a mirror for the moon. When the water moves, it makes the same sound as breath. Above it, priests move in pairs, carrying lamps and silence. They burn cedar and myrrh, their steps timed to the beating of a distant drum. The king watches from his balcony. His crown catches the light and scatters it, a circle of fire around a face made of dusk. He knows how fragile the flame is, how it leans, how it endures, how it vanishes without sound. He knows that to rule is to hold both the heat and the hush. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the air fall to the rhythm of footsteps in sand. Let your chest open to the slow pulse of night. In the courtyards, water jars stand open to the sky. Their surfaces reflect the stars in trembling circles. Servants move softly, their garments brushing like wings. No voice rises above a whisper. This is a kingdom that believes in silence. Even prayer here is a kind of stillness. A child listens by the doorway. He hears the river whisper beneath the stones. He sees the flame sleep within its bowl. He does not yet know their names, but already he understands that both will outlive him. The water will remember the shape of his hands. The flame will remember his warmth. This is how Edom keeps its history, not in words, but in echoes. Beyond the palace, the desert waits. The stars climb higher, and a thin wind carries the scent of iron and salt. Somewhere in that vast silence, caravans travel by moonlight. their bells marking distance, not time. Each sound fades quickly, absorbed by the hush that rules all things here. Breathe again. Let the air touch the back of your throat. Let it leave through parted lips, taking with it whatever still stirs. Every exhale widens the quiet. Every pause deepens the dark. The king lowers his head. His crown catches one last spark from the flame. Then the room returns to shadow. He closes his eyes and listens to the sound of copper cooling. The night folds around him like a robe. The silver river moves unseen through the valley, and the sleeping flame flickers once, then steadies. Both keep their promise. Both remain. Somewhere beyond the ridges, the first stars of another kingdom begin to rise. The night inhales, the valley answers, and you drift with them, light as ash, calm as stone, quiet as time itself. Night deepens over Ser. The air turns silver and still. Every sound softens until only the pulse of the wind remains. In this quiet, the temples of Edom breathe like sleeping hearts. Stone rises from sand in perfect balance, pillars carved by moonlight, altars brushed with dust. Nothing here shouts of glory. Every line, every wall seems drawn to invite silence. The priests walk barefoot through corridors of shadow, their lamps cupped like fragile suns. Incense drifts upward in slow, thoughtful spirals. The smoke weaves its way toward the open roof where stars hang low, watching their reflections in the rising air. Each spark of fire bows to them. Each grain of dust glows in their borrowed light. The scent is of cedar and resin, of water spilled on hot stone, of centuries breathing as one. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the smoke trace the rhythm in your lungs. Let the breath widen into stillness. Here, prayers are whispers shared with the wind. They are shaped not by demand, but by surrender. Hands lift bowls of copper, water trembling inside them like captured moons. The silver river glimmers beyond the temple walls, turning in quiet circles as if to listen. Beside the altar burns a sleeping flame, its glow steady, its warmth patient. Together, they form a conversation of light, one flowing, one still. Pilgrims arrive in silence. Their robes trail over sand worn smooth by devotion. They kneel, touch the stone, and feel the pulse of heat rising from the earth. Some leave offerings of salt, others of dates or myrrh. All leave a breath. It joins the 1,000 others, already caught in this hush. Outside, the desert expands like an endless exhale. Stars shimmer above the cliffs, their reflections trembling on the water's skin. A wind from the west carries the sound of unseen wings. Owls, perhaps, or spirits traveling between dreams. The night feels endless, yet it moves gently forward, like sleep itself drawing closer. Breathe again. 4, 7, 8. The heart slows to match the rhythm of the stars. The body cools. The mind drifts toward the silver edge of thought. A priest sets his lamp upon the ground. The flame bends once, then steadies. Its light rests upon the river's curve, and for a moment, water and fire become one reflection. The world folds inward, quiet within quiet, peace within peace. Stone holds the echo of ancient chants. The words have faded, but their warmth remains, woven into every grain of dust. Here, even silence has memory. It hums beneath the feet, gentle, eternal. You can feel it too, the hush wrapping your thoughts, the softness gathering at your eyes. There is nothing to do, nothing to keep, only to breathe and let the night continue its slow unfolding. The flame breathes once more, its edge flickering like the lid of a dream. The river whispers its agreement, and somewhere between them, the soul of Edom exhales, calm, sacred, endless. Sleep drifts near, not as an end, but as a passage, a road through silver light. Follow it without walking, listen without seeking. The stars tilt slightly west, the desert sighs, the temples fade into the horizon's breath, and you, still breathing, float quietly beneath them, half in the world, half in the dream. Morning returns like a whisper. The desert glows pale gold, quiet and clean after the night. Thin clouds hang above the ridges, moving without sound. The world feels newly washed, as if the wind has opened its eyes. The merchants of Edom rise before the heat. They lead their camels from shadowed courtyards, their ropes soft, their bells barely ringing. The smell of baked clay and copper dust lingers on their hands. They do not speak. The morning speaks for them. Every road here begins with patience. The red earth stretches far and wide, but every mile is marked by trust. A stone placed, a well remembered, a promise kept. Trade is a rhythm, not a race. Each caravan moves to the pulse of the land. Along the valley floor, copper gleams in the sunlight. Ingots wrapped in linen catch the glow, their surfaces blushing gold as they sway on the animals' backs. Beside them lie bundles of frankincense, each one smelling faintly of the night's prayers. Salt glitters in the corners of jars. Everything the earth yields begins again in these hands. The road is long and level, and the air sings faintly with dust. From time to time, a child's voice calls, a bird answers, and silence folds over them again like a blanket. Breathe in. Let the air slide cool through the nose. Hold until the chest feels light. Breathe out slowly and feel the shoulders sink like sand after rain. The silver river wanders beside the traders, thin, glinting, half asleep. It mirrors the sky in broken ribbons. At its edge, a sleeping flame burns in the memory of last night's camp. Smoke rises, disappears, returns. Everything here leaves and returns. At noon, the sun stands white above the cliffs. The sand shines like a sea of glass. The merchants rest beneath acacia trees, their faces calm, their shadows narrow. They pour water from leather flasks, and each drop seems precious, alive. It falls to the ground with a sound like breathing. They eat slowly, bread, olives, a few dates, and speak of faraway cities. Gaza, Thebes, Damascus. Names drift through the heat like mirages. To them, distance is not a burden. It is a song. Each city a note, each mile a beat. And when the song ends, they begin again, turning back the same way, carrying the desert's hush within them. As evening nears, light slips through the mountains, and the world turns amber and blue. Shadows stretch long across the road. The bells on the camels begin again, slow and steady, like a heart remembering itself. Breathe again. 4, 7, 8. The day leaves your body with a breath. The mind empties like a jar poured clean. Let what's left be simple. The wind, the sky, the hush. When night falls, the silver river gleams once more. The merchants stop to rest by its side. They light their small fire, and the sleeping flame wakes, quiet and faithful. Its glow touches each face, turns copper to gold, and carries their stories upward. Nothing more is needed. The fire sighs, the river answers, and the red road stretches on into the dark, a line between worlds, between waking and dream. Now, camels kneel. The men lie down upon woven mats. The stars gather like dust over their eyes. The wind lowers its voice. Breathe once more. The air enters and leaves without weight. The pulse slows. The earth hums. The merchants sleep, and the kingdom sleeps with them. Each light a whisper, each whisper a flame, each flame a memory. And somewhere beyond the road, the desert turns silver again. Night has returned to Ser, and the citadel stands still upon the ridge, a crown of stone against the dark. Its walls breathe with heat from the vanished sun. Every gate glimmers faintly, a mouth of shadow swallowing the wind. Within those walls, torches tremble. Their light moves across carvings of lions, trees, and stars. Time seems slower here, as if each breath of air must ask permission before it passes. The city has learned to sleep with its eyes half open. In the courtyard, a fountain murmurs. The water is thin, a silver thread winding through silence. It remembers every hand that has touched it, every vessel lowered, every reflection that vanished with dawn. Somewhere nearby, a sleeping flame wavers in its copper bowl. It bends toward the sound of water, two soft mirrors waiting for one another. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Let your lungs trace the same slow circle, air to heart, heart to stillness, stillness to air again. At the citadel's center, a scribe writes by candlelight. His brush moves slowly, each stroke a prayer, each word a ripple in the dark. He records not victories, but weather, not conquests, but days of rain and wind. In Edom, even memory must breathe quietly. He pauses. Ink gathers at the edge of his reed. The candle sighs. Outside, the mountains fade into smoke. Far below, caravans appear as lines of sparks. They move between ridges like thoughts crossing a dream. The scribe closes his book. He knows no record can outlast the wind. He lifts the candle and watches the flame lean. Its glow touches the wall and vanishes again. He breathes once, a sound softer than paper turning. The citadel itself seems alive. Hallways pulse with warmth. Rooms hold the echo of slow footsteps. Somewhere, a bell chimes once, the note long and low, melting into the stone like water into sand. Breathe again. 4 counts in, 7 to hold, 8 to release. Let the rhythm carry you past thought. Let the air cool the inside of your chest. Beyond the walls, the silver river curves under starlight. It winds past the sleeping valley, its surface shining like poured glass. The night air smells of myrrh and dust. No voices rise, no hammers ring. Even the wind seems to step lightly here. The kings of Edom rest in their tombs below. Their crowns are gone, their names worn smooth by sand. Only the pattern of their breathing remains, the way they taught the land to wait. A thin breeze moves through the citadel's gate. It touches the scribe's candle, and the flame bows once, then stands again, steady and small. Somewhere above, a single star mirrors that motion, a twin light in the vast quiet. Sleep moves the same way, bending, returning, holding its shape in stillness. It does not ask, it simply arrives. Now, close your eyes. Let the weight of the stone settle into your bones. Let the hush of the citadel wrap around your thoughts. You are here, among the watchers of time. You are breathing with them. The river glides unseen through the dark. The flame watches, the stone remembers, and the world at last exhales. Somewhere beyond the ridge, another candle flickers, another story begins to fade, and you breathe, drift, remain. Dawn arrives quietly in the citadel. It pours through broken arches and settles over empty courtyards. The stone glows soft and warm, as if it remembers sunlight from long ago. Wind carries the scent of figs, and somewhere, water moves beneath the roots. Here lies the garden, half ruin, half dream. Vines crawl over fallen columns. Date palms lean toward the sky, their fronds trembling with silver light. A fountain still breathes at the center, its surface calm, its sound like a whisper of sleep. Once the kings walked here in silence. They listened to the bees, to the slow voice of leaves turning in the heat. They believed that power could be learned from stillness, that patience could bloom from stone. Even now, the air holds the weight of those thoughts, soft and fragrant, like dust after rain. The silver river passes beneath the garden's edge. Its movement hums through the ground, a pulse older than the city itself. At night, it catches the moon in pieces, and each piece drifts like a thought that refuses to die. Beside the fountain, a sleeping flame flickers in its bowl, its reflection trembling across the water. They speak to each other in ripples and glow, light answering light, calm folded within calm. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Let the rhythm of water move through you. Let the air soften behind your eyes. Every breath is a wave crossing the garden. A young gardener tends the roots by touch. He has learned where the shade begins and ends, how much silence each tree requires. He speaks little, but the plants seem to listen. Their leaves turn slowly toward him, as if the wind were made of his voice. He waters the soil, and the scent of earth rises, cool and sweet. It mingles with the hum of insects, the sigh of the fountain, the far echo of copper striking stone. Everything here breathes together. Nothing hurries. The garden is the kingdom's heart. It grows where conquest ends and memory begins. Each seed is a fragment of patience, each petal a fragment of peace. Even ruin here feels tender, a gesture of surrender written in vines. Breathe again. 4, 7, 8. Let the body follow the flow of the river beneath your ribs. Let the mind drift with the waters turning. You are both root and wind now, both flame and reflection. Clouds gather above the ridges. Their shadows move across the sand like slow hands. The light shifts, and for a moment the garden seems to vanish, then returns, softer, quieter than before. A bird calls once and falls silent. The fountain sighs, and the air folds into stillness. You can almost hear the heartbeat of the earth, low, patient, endless. The gardener rests his hands in the water. Ripples widen, touching the reflection of the flame. It quivers, then steadies again. 2 breaths, 2 worlds, both waiting. Sleep moves through the leaves like wind. It bends them gently, then leaves them shining in the light. The garden closes its eyes, and so do you. The river continues unseen, its voice distant but clear. The flame leans lower, its glow fading into gold dust. And the kingdom, quiet and full of breath, begins to dream of its own stillness. The garden sleeps behind the walls. Beyond it, the desert waits, wide, pale, endless. Its surface glows under the moon like glass. Every dune moves as the wind commands, slow as breath, patient as time. A traveler crosses this emptiness alone. His footprints sink deep, then vanish. Each step sounds like a heartbeat wrapped in sand. He carries no map, no banner, only silence. The horizon folds around him like a dream that will not end. Far ahead, the silver river gleams again. It cuts through the earth in a single smooth line, a vein of light through a body of shadow. The sleeping flame still burns in his memory, its glow pressed behind his eyes like a promise. It guides him without voice or direction, a pulse of warmth inside the cold. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the air stretch, long and slow, until it becomes part of the wind. The traveler stops beside a ridge. He kneels, touches the sand, and feels it shifting like water. Here, the earth never keeps what it's given. Every grain carries a trace of something that was once alive: ashes, salt, a whisper, a prayer. All things pass through this place, but nothing truly leaves. He drinks from a clay jar. The water is warm, faintly sweet. When he closes his eyes, he hears the sound of the sea that once lived here, waves still echoing beneath the surface of stone. The desert is full of ghosts that do not grieve. They drift, they listen, they rest. At night, the wind changes. It rises from the west, bringing with it the scent of rain that will not fall. The traveler spreads his blanket, builds a small fire, and watches the flame lean sideways. It bends toward the darkness, then straightens, refusing to vanish. The sky fills with quiet stars. They seem close enough to touch, yet each one moves farther with every blink. He counts them slowly, not to measure time, but to follow their rhythm. It matches his breathing. It matches the desert's heart. Breathe again. 4, 7, 8. Let the chest rise like the dune before you. Let it fall as the dune collapses back into itself. The wind will take what you release. Nothing remains heavy here. He dreams before he sleeps. He sees the citadel fading behind him, the garden closing its eyes, the copper bowls dimming one by one. Yet he feels no loss. He understands that everything sacred must travel, from stone to sand, from sand to air. That is how Edom endures. The silver river hums softly in the dark, hidden but unbroken. The sleeping flame sighs, its light smaller now, but sure. They are still here, companions in silence, guardians of breath. When morning comes, the traveler will rise and walk again. His path will vanish behind him, but the echo of his steps will remain. The desert will hold them for a while, then give them back to the wind. Breathe one last time before sleep. Inhale the quiet. Hold the world inside you. Exhale it gently and let the dunes cover your thoughts. Somewhere beyond this sea of sand, a kingdom waits beneath another sky. Somewhere beyond the sound of your breathing, the night begins again. Empty, full, and endlessly kind. Evening settles once more upon Ser. The mountains blush, then dim, then fade to shadow. The wind carries the scent of ash and copper. Somewhere below, the last fires of the citadel tremble like tired hearts. Edom has grown old. Its roads are thin as scars. The caravans have stopped singing. The merchants whisper of other ports, of seas that shine brighter than this one, of kings whose walls have not yet crumbled. The palace still stands, but its doors hang open, its courtyards filled with leaves. Silence has replaced command. A lone priest lights a small lamp, then forgets why. Its glow falls on carvings that once told stories, kings bending toward gods, mountains rising toward light. Now the lines are soft, their meaning blurred by dust and time. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the breath move like wind through a broken gate. Let it carry away whatever names remain. The silver river still flows beneath the walls. It winds between stones darkened by centuries. No one listens, yet it sings. It hums of rain and hands and memory. Above it, the sleeping flame flickers alone in its bowl. The copper rim has blackened, but the heart of the fire remains bright. It leans, straightens, leans again, a language older than speech. A woman gathers water from the river. Her reflection ripples, then breaks into pieces. She fills her jar, ties it with rope, and looks once toward the mountains. She does not pray. She does not weep. She only breathes, and in her breath, the kingdom continues a little longer. Night spreads over the valley. The stars burn low, as if veiled by sleep. Winds shift from the east, carrying the first taste of winter. Cold, clean, forgiving. Within the ruined hall, a young boy finds a fragment of a crown. He lifts it, feels its weight, and wonders what head it once touched. It shines for a moment in the moonlight, then fades to the color of dust. He sets it down carefully, and the echo of that gesture seems to last forever. Breathe again. 4, 7, 8. Let the air soften the edges of thought. Let your pulse slow to the rhythm of the stars. There is no kingdom now, only the sound of wind tracing old walls, only the silver river carrying its secrets beneath the earth, only the sleeping flame guarding what remains of warmth. Still, something lingers, a calm too deep to vanish, a peace born from surrender. Perhaps that is the truest crown of all, to end without fear, to fade without noise, to sleep knowing the river still moves. Above the ruins, the moon climbs high, its light spilling over stone and sand alike. It touches the crown fragment once more, and for an instant it shines as it once did, not in triumph, but in memory. Breathe once more before rest. Inhale the cool night. Hold it gently. Exhale into silence. The air leaves like a sigh from the mountain's heart. Somewhere beyond the valley, the desert opens its arms. The stars tilt west, and the kingdom of Edom, red and ancient, dreams itself into dust. Peaceful, endless, and free, the final night of Edom drifts in quietly. No trumpet, no cry. Only wind sliding through hollow doors, gathering the scent of dust and memory. The walls no longer guard, they listen. Each stone keeps a heartbeat, soft, patient, and slow. Moonlight spills through the cracks, painting silver veins across the ruin. The air feels older than the mountains themselves. Once, this place echoed with work. Hammers on ore, chants beneath the stars, the rhythm of breath and flame. Now even the echo has learned to rest. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the sound of your lungs join the hush of the valley. Let it blend with the low hum of the earth. The silver river glides unseen below the ruins. It murmurs against stone worn smooth by centuries. Its water carries copper dust, tiny sparks of red that glimmer beneath the moon. It has never stopped moving, never stopped remembering. Beside it, the sleeping flame flickers one last time. Its light is faint but certain. It sways, bows, and straightens again, as if saying farewell to the night. It does not die. It becomes breath, a whisper moving through the kingdom's bones. Above, the sky deepens to indigo. Stars blur in the distance, their reflections trembling on the river's skin. Each one falls slowly inward, as if sleep itself were claiming the heavens. No difference now between above and below, between fire and water, between the living and the remembered. A silence gathers that is not empty, but full, of prayers unspoken, of footsteps fading, of light that refuses to vanish. Breathe again. 4 counts, 7, 8. Let your heart match the pulse of the river. Let your mind rest in the hollow where sound once lived. Here, nothing is lost. Here, even forgetting is gentle. In the last house of the citadel, a woman lights a lamp. The oil burns blue. She sits beside it until dawn begins to grey the window. Then she covers the flame with her palm, not to end it, but to keep it safe. The light remains behind her eyes. It travels with her breath. it becomes the morning itself. The first sun touches the red ridges of Ser. The copper glows once more, not as metal, but as memory. The river turns to gold, the air tastes of warmth returning, and somewhere beneath it all, the sleeping flame smiles. You breathe with it now. Your chest rises with the mountains. Your thoughts fall like dust returning to peace. The edges of the world blur. Dreams walk through the open gate. There is no ending. Only the soft turning of light into silence. Only the calm of what remains. The silver river continues its journey toward the unseen sea. The sleeping flame glows beneath the earth, patient and sure. And you, drifting between them, become their echo, their rhythm, their rest. Sleep now. The desert watches, the stars breathe, the kingdom sleeps, and the night holds everything, in ash, in light, in peace. The night exhales for the last time over Ser. The mountains fade into a silver haze, their shapes dissolving in moonlight like salt in water. The kingdom sleeps beneath them, no crown, no name, no sound, only breath, only peace. The silver river drifts quietly toward the unseen sea. It remembers everything but speaks of nothing. Its surface glows as if carrying the moon upon its back. Above it, the sleeping flame still burns beneath the bowl, small, patient, eternal. Together, they whisper, all things return to light. Breathe in, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Let your body grow weightless, your thoughts dissolve, your pulse slow to the rhythm of the river. You are part of this calm now, ancient as stone, soft as ash, infinite as night. Every ending folds into another beginning, and every dream drifts toward the same quiet sea. The moon watches, the earth listens, the air hums a single word. Rest. If this story carried you into peace, let the next one find you again beneath the same moon. Each week, another civilization dreams. Each night, another flame waits for you. So breathe once more. Let sleep rise gently through the bones. The stars remember. The rivers keep flowing. And you may rest.